Hello everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on The Walking Dead Season 10 Episode 3. As is the norm with all my videos, I won't be holding back on any spoilers, so please do keep that in mind. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin. This episode begins exactly where last week's episode left things, with our characters being chased by the Reapers. I thought the opening scene in which the Reapers are on the hunt in the woods was absolutely fantastic. I haven't felt this on edge watching The Walking Dead since back in Season 9 where the Whisperers were first introduced. Maggie's friends are being killed or captured left, right and centre. Negan takes a knife to the leg. Gabe almost gets his throat slashed. And it just felt like our characters were completely powerless and they were completely outmatched and outclassed against this group of hunters, and I really liked that. I do wish, however, that this opening scene was a bit longer because it only goes on for like 1 or 2 minutes and it was easily the most engaging and most pulsating scene in the entire episode. I just wanted more scenes of our characters being chased by the Reapers. I really liked the scenes in the episode in 10C where the Reapers were first introduced and the Lone Reaper was kind of sniping our characters in the woods and had them all on the run, and I just wish we had a bit more of that. Instead, after the opening, our characters, they're being chased more by walkers than Reapers really, which is a bit disappointing. Anyway, one criticism which I have of this episode, which I might as well just get out of the way now because I have already mentioned Maggie's friends dying, is that there are 4 characters who die this episode and they're all red shirts. I honestly couldn't even name you the characters who died. I know nothing about them. They're just the extras. They're part of Maggie's group, you know, the characters who she met while she was away when she left the show, and I don't care that any of them died. You know that scene in the last episode when Maggie said to Negan and Alden that she feels nothing? That's me when these characters died. I did not care. And the show tries to make us feel sad about these characters dying. I mean, there's a scene in which Maggie puts one of them down and she kisses the dude on the head and she's all teary-eyed, and then the lady's eaten by walkers and Negan has to drag a screaming Maggie away. But these scenes had zero effect on me because I do not care. I don't care. We're 11 seasons into the show now and I just feel like it needs to stop trying to make viewers upset about characters dying who they know nothing about. I don't care about these characters. They weren't developed. They had barely any lines of dialogue. So yeah, these scenes just didn't have any effect on me. But then maybe I'm just incredibly cold-hearted. Who knows? Another problem with only killing red shirts is that I kind of feel like the Reapers need to kill someone big if they are to really be taken seriously and, you know, to be considered alongside the previous antagonistic groups on The Walking Dead, because we remember who the governor killed. We remember that the governor killed Herschel and Andrea. We remember what Negan did when he first appeared on the show. If all these Reapers do is just kill off Maggie's friends, people who I don't even know the names of, then all things said and done, when the Reaper arc ends, if that's all they do, will anyone really look back and think, oh, the Reapers were amazing? I just think they need to kill someone off soon. They need to kill a big character. Yes, they do injure Alden in this episode, but they gotta kill someone big to have an impact, and I don't know whether they will. I might be wrong, and if I am wrong, I'm gonna hold my hands up in a minute and say I'm wrong. What else can I do? I can't pretend I'm not wrong when I am wrong. But anyway, I don't know. I've kind of got this feeling that the Reaper arc is going to come and go, and the only people they're going to kill is Maggie's friends. But who knows? Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. It's just weird that the Reapers have like near flawless aim when it comes to these extras, but when it's any other character, they can't hit for shit. I mean, there's a scene when one of them is even standing directly behind Maggie, and she lights the lighter up, and then he appears, and only when she turns around does he try to attack her or fight her. And it's like, you could have just killed her by now. I mean, yes, it is quite a cool scene because it was quite frightening seeing the skull appear when Maggie put the light on. But it's one of those scenes which looks good. But then when you take a moment to think about it, I was like, yeah, this is actually quite stupid. He should have killed her. However, as stupid as it may be, I do like the whole horror vibe that this episode has to it, similar to the 2 episodes that came before it. I really did like the scenes of Maggie walking around the abandoned shopping mall, was it? It reminded me of when Rick woke up in the hospital, especially her lighting the lighter on the stair, and the same way in which Rick struck his match on the stairs in the hospital. So yeah, I like that. I like the parallels between those 2 scenes. Anyway, come the end of the episode, Maggie and Negan are the only 2 left of Maggie's group. Daryl is still alive, but he disappears at the start of the episode and he is going to be in next week's episode. Alden is injured and he decides to stay at some building because he feels like he's slowing the group down. And I remember saying in my death predictions video before the start of the season that I did think that Alden was going to die, and it looks like that may well be the case. It looks like all signs are pointing to him being killed. However, part of me does think that if he was going to die, they would have just had him die when the Reaper was on top of him, you know, have him die quite a gory death, so why leave him to potentially survive? Or maybe they're doing it so that Maggie will come back to the building and then Alden will be a walker and then Maggie will feel incredibly guilty for, you know, leading her group on this wild goose chase. As dumb as it sounds, and I know people are going to hate on me in the comments for this, I did briefly kind of forget that Alden was once a saviour. Sorry, yes, I know I'm supposed to know these things as a reviewer, but yeah, I kind of forgot that, and he does have some dialogue in this episode when he speaks to Maggie and explains why he chose to side with her over Negan. And it was a good conversation, but part of me just thinks now that I kind of wish they'd done more with Alden and Negan, because yeah, I don't remember these two really interacting that much with one another, and it would have been interesting to see Alden, the ex-saviour, with the saviour leader. This kind of seems like kind of wasted potential in my opinion. So the episode ends with Maggie and Negan riding off into the sunset. Well, not quite, but they do go off together, hunting for supplies and whatnot. And at this moment in time, I'm still kind of finding it really hard to root for Maggie. I mean, Negan is right. Her plan is absolutely dumb. In the space of 3 episodes, she's got all her crew killed. So yeah, she needs to just kind of stop being an idiot and just stop being, well, stubborn is the word I'd use basically. Yeah, just stop being stubborn and listen to other people. I know the group are desperate for food, but who's to say that even if they reach Meridian, that the food hasn't already been used? Or maybe there's like some kind of secret stash that only Maggie knows about, I don't know. I know the protagonists consider Alexandria their home, but honestly, I think by this point it would just be better to cut their losses and move to somewhere else, because Alexandria is pretty much destroyed, Hilltop's destroyed, the kingdom is run down, I don't know where Oceanside are, they've disappeared, so I think it would have just been better for them to leave and try and find somewhere else where there was more stuff to hunt, they could farm and more stuff to build and, you know, easier to survive. Maybe that's what's going to happen eventually, because I think eventually all these characters will go to the Commonwealth and that's where they're settled, so perhaps that's where they're heading. Perhaps what will happen is that Maggie will go to Meridian, there won't be food there, or there won't be enough food there, and then all the characters decide that they will have to actually leave Alexandria. Back to Negan and Maggie, I did think it was a bit cliche that Negan saved Maggie when the Reaper was attacking him. I mean, Negan seems to save everybody on this show. He saved Gage, he saved Judith, he saved Lydia, and that's just off the top of my head. He's probably saved more people than that. Yeah, it was a bit cliche, but I guess it does also show some character growth, because it seems like Negan has put his paranoia regarding Maggie killing him to the back of his mind, at least for now anyway. So yeah, it does show some character development. Would Maggie have done the same in that situation? No, I don't know. I mean, you could argue that she would save Negan because she wants to defeat the Reapers and needs Negan to help her find the food, but I don't know, part of me still thinks she would have just left Negan to fight off the Reaper on his own. Maggie says to Negan at the end of the episode that he may have convinced everyone else he's changed, but he's not going to convince her, and that's totally understandable in my opinion. I mean, I'm not one to take sides. I'm not really team Negan or team Maggie, but I do sometimes see people saying, oh, Maggie should be over it by now, and I just think, no, her husband died. She's never going to get over that. If I was in her situation, I would never forgive Negan. And I say this as someone who likes Negan, so I do understand that. Anyway, I'm glad that the show has trimmed the fat now by getting rid of Maggie's group and, you know, most of the pointless extras. And I'm actually looking forward to just seeing an episode where Maggie and Negan are on the road together. I mean, this is the first time they've been on their own together since, what, back in the prison when Maggie tried to kill him. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that more than seeing Maggie and Negan and some pointless extras tag along with them. Anyway, it's now time for a new special feature in these reviews. Welcome to Josh's Technical Analysis of the Week. Josh's Technical Analysis of the Week. So, this is the part of the review in which I talk about serious filmmaking stuff and shit like that. So, today I'm going to be talking about sounds. And there's the word sounds, if you don't know how to spell the word sounds. It's there for you anyway. So there's a scene in this episode in which Negan has a crowbar and he hits a walker on the head and it makes a thud sound like alright, not quite like that, but it makes a good thud sound, and it's quite a satisfying thud, quite a satisfying sound effect. I give it 11 crowbars out of 9 lemons. Josh's Technical Analysis of the Week. Sadly, there's no scenes at the Commonwealth this week. Instead, we go to Alexandria, where we follow Carol, Magna, Kelly and Rosita as they round up some horses. Exciting stuff. At least they're not chasing rats, I suppose. As you can guess, I did not care for this part of the episode at all. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I just don't think Carol is that interesting a character at present. I don't really think There's much more they can do with her. And I'm kind of sick of just watching her do tedious tasks all the time. Surely the writers could have come up with something more exciting than this for these girls to do. I mean, maybe have them go to, I don't know, a warehouse or something to get some supplies for Alexandria's walls. I mean, they can all take care of themselves. Maybe they can go there and count some people or fight some walkers or something like that. Be more exciting than seeing them try to catch a bloody horse. I just kind of feel like all these characters are being wasted at the moment. I mean, Rosita is basically just a housewife now. All she does is stay at Alexandria. She doesn't really get involved in anything, you know, any nitty gritty stuff. I mean, really, she should be out doing missions with Gabe, you know, like some kind of badass team, like when Michonne and Rick were together. I mean, yes, I know that she has a kid and she wants to stay to look after the child, I presume, but that never stopped Rick and Michonne going on missions together. As for Kelly and Magna, I like both of them, but they're never really given that much interesting stuff to do. And like I said a moment ago with Carol, you know, chasing rats and now rounding up horses. Again, Carol just seems to be getting the shit storylines lately. So, I don't know, I just think there's more these characters can be doing. There's more a lot of characters on the show can be doing, really. Anyway, the only part of this horse side story that I did like was the fact that Carol had to kill a horse so she could get the horse meat and use that to feed the starving children. It reminded me of when Sasha had to kill the dog on the road, and it obviously shows just how bad the situation currently is at Alexandria. Although admittedly, I don't think that killing a horse is as bad as eating dog. I mean, it's a well-known fact that we love horse meat in the UK. Tesco were once selling a spaghetti bolognese which contained 60% horse meat. Horse meat bolognese, my favourite. I also thought it was quite convenient that there were 4 women and they all just happened to find 4 horses, one each. And the horses just so happened to be near some kind of, I don't know, what was it, farm or whatever, where there were stables and they could pen them in. It just seems like really lazy writing in my opinion. Gabe also briefly featured in this episode and we see him encounter an injured Reaper. The Reaper thinks that Gabe is going to pray for him and perhaps even help him because he's a man of God, but Gabe just stabs the dude in the head, which I think is absolutely the right thing to do. I have seen some people in Reddit already say that, why didn't Gabe take him? Why didn't Gabe take him to try and get information out of him? But I mean, think back to 10C. They tried to take a Reaper and he blew himself up. So I don't think the Reapers are the type who are going to give out information. And even if they do, it'll probably be false anyway. I wouldn't believe a word they said. So I believe that Gabe absolutely did the right thing. We also got a really cute little scene of RJ, Gracie, Herschel Jr. and Judith playing cards. These kids are all pretty damn likeable and I wish that we'd seen more of them by now. I mean, Judith was one of my favourite characters in season 9, but she's hardly been on the show since, which is a shame. And this got me thinking really that despite the fact that I am enjoying season 11, I'm kind of worried now that this Reaper arc is going to come and go and there's going to be so many characters who we don't actually see because it seems to be so focused on this tiny group of, you know, Maggie, Negan and Daryl. And yeah, I'm just kind of worried that this Reaper arc is probably going to go on for what, another 3-4 episodes, and then you've only got like 16 episodes of the show left and there's going to be characters who we haven't even seen yet or characters who deserve more screen time. I mean, what happened to Lydia, for example? She was fantastic in season 9, one of my favourite characters. She was pushed to the sidelines in season 10 and now she doesn't really do anything. I mean, she was briefly in the season premiere. She was helping out with the girls going to the whatever it was, the army camp or whatever, but she hasn't been seen since, and I think really she should be on the front lines with Maggie. She's a fighter, she's capable, she has a good relationship with Negan, she should be out there with him. But instead, she's just back at Alexandria doing nothing. Also, I wish that Connie was back by now. She left at the end of season 9, or was it beginning of season 10? There was the cave-in or whatever, and we haven't seen her since. Well, we saw her at the end of season 10, but she's still not returned since that point. And yeah, it just feels like Connie's been gone forever. I mean, she was a regular character, a main character in season 9, and I know I keep talking about season 9, but I really like that season, and part of the reason why I really enjoyed that season was because of Connie's chemistry with Daryl. It was fantastic. I miss her, I want her back, and again, I'm just worried that as more and more episodes go, we're going to have less time to explore some of my favourite characters. I don't know, maybe I'm being worried and anxious for no reason, but the more this Reaper arc goes on, the more I am getting irritated and getting a bit annoyed that I'm not seeing some of my favourite characters, but instead I'm seeing more scenes of Carol just doing tedious shit. But you know, hopefully I'm proved wrong, and hopefully some of my favourite characters do appear in the remaining episodes that we have left of The Walking Dead and they get satisfying storylines. Anyway, overall I would say that this is the weakest episode of season 11 by far. The Reaper stuff was okay. I liked it. I liked some of the action stuff. You know, it was tense, it was nervy. I liked some of the horror vibes to it, but the stuff at Alexandria was no substitute for the Commonwealth stuff at all. It was just not good. I just didn't enjoy the scenes at Alexandria at all. I mean, I have seen some comments from people saying that, oh, it was a nice, a nice juxtaposition to have these really nice scenes of Carol finding a horse and it being a bit uplifting compared to the Reaper stuff. I mean, I guess if you feel that way, fine, but personally, I just found it boring. I didn't care for it at all. It looks like the Reaper's leader, Pope, is going to appear next episode, and I'm hoping that we finally learn something about them, you know, what this group are, what their beliefs are, because all we know so far is that they just like to kill people. So hopefully Pope delivers and the Reapers turn out to be kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to end this video being too negative, and because, you know, it wasn't a bad episode, but I don't know, it's odd because I do feel like these episodes have been quite quick, but at the same time, I'm conscious that there's not long of The Walking Dead left, and I want to see other characters. I want to go to other places. I want to see other characters, and I am getting a bit frustrated, but I don't know, maybe I just need to relax a bit and chill and just enjoy the show for what it is. I don't know. But anyway, let me know your thoughts below. Do you agree with me or disagree? Did you like this episode? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Goodbye.